Since My Hero Academia started last week for their season 6, it has hit the ground running. It is absolutely fantastic. So much stuff is going on, and Mirko might be one of my new favorite characters. Before I get into my thoughts and reaction for the episode, if you guys like content just like this, hit the subscribe button for more because it helps out a lot. And on top of it, we're going to be talking, spoiler territory, so this is going to be your quick warning before we jump into it. Of course, the episode's going to pick up literally where we left off last week, and I like how Mirko just comes in and absolutely decimates all those tanks. She just kicks them all, and she's really strong, and also during this, she had some really cool moments in the episode too. I really like the fight with the higher end Nomus. Like, she's like kicking their asses, but also losing at the same time. She gets her arm all twisted, and I was like, I thought she was gonna die, but I'm glad she didn't, because I'm really liking her character and her like cocky attitude, and how she even says that, she's not gonna die with any regrets. She is one serious fighter, and her powers are pretty cool. I mean, it's just rabbit, but damn, she can kick pretty hard. One of the moments I really liked from this episode too was how Endeavor turns around to Eraserhead after he stops one of the Nomus from using his quirks and being like, hey, it's not too late to become my sidekick. And I love how Eraserhead's like, well, I got my students to protect. Yeah, sure you do. You just don't want to be a sidekick. And it looks like because they're at the hospital, Garaki's been turning probably patients who are dying into Nomus by just bringing them down to the morgue. Because that's where it seems like everything was happening. So that's probably why they have so many. Because any person with like a pretty bad injury, they probably just snuck down and said died and turned him into a Nomu. I like how we learn more about the Nomus, and that there's 3 different tiers. Upper, middle, and lower. Then there are the high ends that keep the personalities of the people they were before. So Garaki picked people to turn into upper tiers were villains who would want to fight. Which makes sense, because you want these creatures to keep fighting for you and to keep wanting to kill the heroes. And I like how we find out too that the Nomus who have multiple quirks can only be programmed and told what to do. So that's why they're more like mindless creatures that only fight. But one of Garaki's ones that were kind of a mindless one saves them. And he's like, wow, they're thinking for their own, which probably sets up some pretty bad things, meaning that these Nomus can think for themselves. And the fact that if they can think for themselves, should the heroes really be killing them? Because that might not be the best course of action, because they are living people now, and they might need to be saved. And I really liked the moment where Edshot's team was going in, and we had everyone worried about Kaminari and Tokiyami, and then we had Kaminari freaking out on the battlefield, and Midnight helping him through it, like, being like, you got this, you need to help us useless adults. And even telling Kaminari to think of the people in his heart that are important to him, and he thinks of Jiro. And I mean, you could say he's also thinking about his whole class, but they focus on Jiro in that scene. And then Tokiyami is talking about how Kaminari, when they were doing the band rehearsal, Kaminari was wanting to impress Jiro and do this to make her happy. And I'm like, Kaminari likes Jiro. And this is, I think, the first time we've really gotten a crush in this show that's not Mineta being a creep to everyone else, other than Deku and Uraraka. And I like how even Tokiyami calls Kaminari amazing. Because Kaminari's been kind of like this dumb fool who hangs out with Mineta. And then his powers make him look like an idiot because when he puts out too much electricity, he kind of turns dumb for a few minutes, but he's been getting better. And I like how he has this huge hero moment where he sees the villain with the electricity powers, and he just bolts to the front to help everyone, and he turns himself into a lightning rod, which I thought was really cool. And I think this is our first badass Kaminari moment, which I love. I like seeing the students get their own badass moments, getting their hero moments to be true heroes. And the spotlight's usually on Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya, so it's nice to see the other class members get the spotlight. It's honestly an absolutely fantastic series. I love My Hero Academia. Again, it's probably because I'm a huge superhero fan, so this just really resonates with me. And I like seeing people get inspired and becoming heroes. So this series is great. I cannot wait for the rest of Season 6 and to really see the war begin. What did you think of Episode 2/115 of My Hero Academia? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys later.